Welcome to the Tommy Sandu podcast, and you might notice that I am joined by somebody brand new here. Who's this? Who's this person? It is Nikhil Arora from GoDaddy. We're really super proud to be bringing you this podcast with Bharat, my family at the biggest cricket support group in the world, fan group in the world, Bharat. I've been doing loads of them, covering all the games, covering IPO action. Love those boys. And Bharat and GoDaddy wanted to bring you a kind of little season of podcasts you're going to see over the next few weeks where we talk to cricket people. But GoDaddy, of course, well, I'll let Nikhil tell you. It's a business, startup, provider, help, support. How would you describe what GoDaddy are, Nikhil?
So our mission is to empower everyday entrepreneurs, which essentially means, everybody has a dream, and we help your dream, we help you name your dream, and then help you grow your dream and help you thrive your dream. And so anytime you want to grow online, and thrive online, GoDaddy is your partner, because everything starts with naming what you want to do, and then it's all takes off from there.
Right. So create it, create the domain, create the website, get it rolling. One thing I really realized during lockdown and also just life in general, I think it's the age that I'm at, maybe in my 40s now, is I'm like, man, just give things a go, take steps. And it's so much easier now with digital steps in place, because you haven't got to go get a lease for a shop. You can go online, and for only a few rupees or a few pounds or a few dollars, you're up and online and you're running. And that's the beauty of where we're at right now. So hopefully this next season of podcasts, including our chat coming up right now with Monty, will inspire you. You'll also hear about giving your dreams a go, taking those steps to give something a try out, but also managing yourself in that, managing your own strength of mind, peace of mind, happiness. And you'll hear how Monty does that with his sport and also with everything else he is beyond that. So this is the Tommy Sandu podcast, brought to you by Bharat and GoDaddy, with Nikhil Arora and the awesome Monty Panesar. Mr. Monty Panesar. What up, Mons? How's it going, my man? You all right?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show, and lovely to meet you, Nikhil.
Why are you being? Look at you being all like a prana, being all formal. Yes, thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for being there. Thank you. Yeah, have you forgotten your Punjabi roots, mate? Can you please desi it up a little bit? And also something else a brown man should not do. A brown man should not wear a white top and stand against a white wall, because guess what we're looking at right now, Monty? We're looking at a floating head against the wall. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. How are you, bro? You all right? Are you well today?
Yeah, really good, mate. Really good.
Good. Thanks for being there. And Nikhil from GoDaddy is here more because, Monty, there's so much to you and there's so much we want to chat about. So I'm going to dive straight in because, yes, you play cricket at international level. And, sometimes we have to stop and think, man, you were there. You've been there. You've heard the roar. You know the rumble. You know the pressure. You know the secret conversations that we speculate about when we're watching cricket. What's going on in the dressing room? What could they be saying now? What's the tactic there? You're there. You've been there. But, of course, I know more so because over the last few years when we've crossed paths, you're more than a cricketer. There's more to you than that. And there's more that you're doing, which is really why I wanted the GoDaddy team here and Nikhil here from GoDaddy, because it was our way of sort of saying, well, let's look at you in business. Let's look at you as a product, because you are your product. People sell stuff in the shop. Monty is the shop, and cricket is your product as well. So how's, you and, your evolution has been quite interesting, which we'll come on to. But when you think back to everything you've achieved cricket-wise, when you think back to, let's say that first ball, when you got Sachin Tendulkar out, I mean, that's a dream start to any boy's career, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That was always my dream come true, to get my first test wicket, which was Sachin Tendulkar. And then, he's obviously known as one of the best sportsmen, ever. So, yeah, there couldn't have been a better introduction to international cricket by taking, Sachin's first test wicket.
What does everybody say when you go back to the dressing room? What's everyone like? Oh my God, you took, you turned up like a little cub and you took out the lion.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the best way to put it. And everyone's just delighted for me, really happy. And it was just, they were so happy around me. Yeah.
But as always, there's a danger, I think, when you have a really solid start, and I suppose this applies to business as well, Nikhil, when you have a solid start, I'm not saying it was, Monty, let's just say, let's call it, for example, maybe even a lucky start, right? or luck goes your way, or conditions favor you, sometimes that can lull you into a sort of a false sense of security, or might go, oh well, great, I'm made for this. I took out Sachin. How did it affect you, or did it boost you? Do you remember what it did for you at the time doing that?
Yeah, look, you have these options, don't you? Whenever you're like, at the highest level, you're going to be faced amongst, challenges which, you're going to find difficult mentally, emotionally, physically as well. Being out in the field, the crowd roaring, and India on top of you. And, you look at the players around you. Look at the likes of Andrew Flintoff, Steve Harmison, Andrew Strauss, Kevin Peterson. They're all in there going for the battle. And, even Jimmy Anderson was, obviously part of that tour. He's ended up probably be one of the greatest ever now. They're like there to say, no, we're going to compete against them. And you kind of like, it's like a pack of wolves, you're part of the team now. So you can't just sit there being starstruck or, just be in awe of this team. You got to compete because that's what they want as well. They have much more respect for you if you compete against the top players, because then afterwards they'll say, after when we finished playing, they were like, oh, that was a really good spell, or that was a really good ball. And that's the kind of accolades you're looking for after, end of the match, or, whenever you see these great players, because that's kind of like, you kind of know that, yeah, they respect you. So look, it's brilliant, when you're playing at the top level, it's unbelievable. You meet some great human beings, and it's just lovely. We're very lucky to get that opportunity.
No, man, it is amazing. What did you how do I say this? Did you feel your color? Did you feel that you're there as a brown man, first seat with a Patka playing for England? That's huge. And I remember even seeing you. I wasn't sure. I'm like, is this guy a sellout, or is he representing? I'm like, it kind of is, everyone always talks about the split and the tear that cricket does. You're right in the middle of that. But did you feel it at the time? You're like, nah, man, I was an athlete doing my thing. I was focused on my training. How aware were you that you don't look the same as the others?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to people around you. I had good life coaches, mentors around me who would always say, you're going to get sidetracked in this conversation of, like the Tibet test they talk about. What is Monty doing playing for England? He should be playing for India. But, I was born in this country. I schooled here. I went through all the age group systems. So, it was very natural to think that, the next progression is to play for England. What system would I able to go to play for India? And also, when you're born in this country, like in your mind, at that, you just think this is where I belong. I've got a national insurance number. I'm born in this country, so I guess I belong here.
I love it. No, look at you're so Asian, Monty. Forget I've got a passport. Forget I've got a visa. Forget I've got a house. No, I've got a national insurance number. I can work, man. I can work here. It's legal. Thank you. Nikhil, what are your memories of watching this man play?
Yeah, first of all, watching him in India, right? You Tendulkar is the god of cricket, and here Monty's coming and bowls and gets his wicket. It was kind of a love-hate relationship, I must say, right? Love from its time to you seeing, because I've lived abroad and I can understand what it is to be, integrating back into a national team of a country where you're brown. And it was just amazing and a proud moment to see him coming and really, taking a wicket at Tendulkar, which was not fun, but seeing him taking the wicket was really fun, because it was just a proud moment for us. Even billion of us in India were now saying, okay, somebody has arrived, in England who we can be proud of as well.
It's nice, man. That's really nice. And the game's changed so much. I feel like it's changing all the time. It's changing very quickly at the moment with the 100 and T20. We spoke to Gotham last week. We've Michael Vaughan as well on the podcast. And they've all said pretty much there's too much cricket on. Would you say it's the same?
Well, it's an interesting debate, really, because I think the most important form is Test cricket, and it was great to see how India and England, that Test series was such a good Test series. Just to, I think it's vital that India are playing Test cricket and also producing great Test matches. Did it in Australia, now they did it in England. So that has to always be like the main course meal of a menu, and then you have your starter, which will be the T20 cricket, and then now we've got T10 leagues which are starting. Abu Dhabi League is starting soon, and
So
I guess
what are the T10? What's T10? Is that canapes? Is that
that's 10 overs.
Yeah, I know. No, but you just said if you said the T20 is starters. So T10 has surely got to be the little, when you're outside the wedding hall and they bring around those little spring rolls and the little kebabs and the little chicken. That's T10.
Yeah, it's like when you go to Nando's and they ask you for olives.
That's olive.
T10.
Right, got it. See, you related it to me. Thank you, Monty. See, that's because you're a broadcaster now. That's because you're moving on, so you know you have to relate to your audience. And talking of it, let's focus on this now, because this is really why I wanted Nikhil here to kind of give me some insight. I think this podcast exists because we want to inspire people, want people to feel good, right? And when I met the GoDaddy team, generally they want to do the same thing. Their services are there to facilitate people to start their thing, whatever your thing is, digitally, get going. These are the steps, and people are often nervous about that. But you've done that. See, Monty, when we've had our chats, you and I, where we've met at various events. Well, let's go back to when we met a couple of years ago, just pre-lockdown, and your book was coming out, and I thought, wow, look at that! Like, Monty's got a book out. That's not easy to do. You're now a broadcaster. You've retrained into journalism. We'll come to in a second. But firstly, how difficult was it starting new ventures, knowing that you're a cricket with a legendary status, but yet you have to do these other things now. You're coming out your comfort zone. That can't have been easy.
Yeah, look, I think the difficulty for me is always going to be, is even in broadcast and journalism, is put the cricketer aside and, how good am I as a journalist or a broadcaster? And people are always going to associate with, the cricketer, and, so part of my, when I do my podcast or, do my sort of stuff, on journalism, I've got to then, include that bit, because that is part of my identity as well. I can't just sort of say, oh, you're a journalist now, and let's forget about the last 20 years of being a cricketer. So I begin to learn, by going to university that I went to, St. Mary's. The lecturers there were very good at, helping me and advising. And they said, there's going to be one part where you've got to show the skills of a journalist. Then the other part is obviously adding your experience as a sports person. So if you're writing, if you're broadcasting, that's how you got to blend it in, because it's, I remember speaking to sports psychologists, and psychologists, they say, you've got to, whatever's your timeline, all of them people are part of your identity. You can't just put it aside. You can't just say, that's it. Turn over the chapter. I'm on chapter 2 now, but chapter 1 doesn't matter. It's all part of the book. All the chapters are interlinked. So it's your skill of how you relate it to, let's say, whatever you're doing in life right now. So I could be reporting on, I don't know, anything. Could be vegetarian food, for example. And I'm a vegetarian myself. How can I relate that experience and put it into context, what's happening now? Same with sports. So, it's just everything, really. Yeah.
Aloo gobi or matar paneer?
Depends which one you make better.
I can do both. I'd say probably matar paneer, because my aloo gobi, are they either hard or they're mushy. I can't get it right in the middle.
Well, come on, we got to ask GoDaddy.
Yeah, Nikhil?
I thought you'll go with some chole or, some, the old school Punjabi hardcore.
Exactly. I'm like, where is this? Like, this is B grade subgies you're talking about. Like, let's talk about A grade list. We want A grade stuff.
What's an A grade subgie?
Well, we've got to have like chole paturis gets in the A list,
yeah.
right? 100%.
No, but that's because you're putting patura in the mix, right?
Yeah, that has to go in there as well.
So your opening partnership is chole and pature up either end, right?
Yeah.
But if chole go out, who comes in with pature?
It has to be then. We have to go with your B grade, matar paneer.
Oh, so number 3 in any batting order is B grade. Is that what you're saying?
No, you need to give me, if I'm coming to your house for food, you got to give me at least saag or chole or tarka dal. They're the 3.
Yeah, I love it. I'm working on my saag game. I'm still early doors. You see, like you, I'm diversifying into more making more subsies, and saag is next. But I didn't realize how much cutting and mulching is involved. It's a lot of effort, and it's a it's an all day. So it's a one day.
Well, I remember going on Celebrity MasterChef, and I had to learn how to cook. Honestly, Nikhil, right? I had to learn how to cook in 4 weeks. My mom just said to me, right, here's the timer. I said, I've got 20 minutes to make everything. She'll get the timer on, and then she'll tell me how to do it. And that's what I did. I just got aloo gobi done quickly, and the roti and everything. So, I learned cooking very well. Have you been on Celebrity MasterChef?
No, I've been on Celebrity MasterChef. No, I haven't.
I would love to see you on there. I would love to see you on there.
I tell you what, I love cooking because I love like hosting, like being around people. It's intimate. It's feeding people. It's nice. You're sharing something. You're creating something. I like that bit, but I don't like the fancy pantsy stuff. Like, the jus de this and the little. I hate that thing what fancy Indian restaurants do, where they do the line of chutney with 3 drops of chutney. Those 3 circles. I'm like, what is that supposed to be, like a dot to be continued? Yeah, it's to be continued. I need more chutney. Go get the Hellman's mayonnaise tub that I know is filled with chutney out back. Bring it here and put it in a dunga, and let's get dipping. But I want to come back to you, Monty, and you're diversifying, and also with Nikhil here. People can say, hey, you're a cricketer. What's he doing? What's he doing thinking he's a broadcaster? Why is he popping up on news channels like we do together and all that? Stick to what you know. And Nikhil, I'm going to come to you in a second here, because that's going to be a big fear in people entering new business ventures, which GoDaddy want people to do. But how did you have the balls, the bravery to take that step to go, no, I can do this, even though I have no prior knowledge of it?
Yeah, that's why I did a course at university, because if I was serious about it, then I thought, why don't I just do a course and then learn, maybe how to report, how to say journalistic things, and through that, it was a great experience, because I write articles now. I'm able to do podcasting, produce as well myself, and edit and do it all together. But at some point, I may need a producer, because you can't do it. It's so hard, so much hard work doing it all yourself.
Oh, tell me about it. And the producers are key. They make everything possible, and they are wonderful. Ting.
Yes.
Okay, that's just for me later on to score a little brownie point. Nikhil, barriers though, mental barriers when people are starting new ventures. You must see it. You must come across it. You're there. You're there when people are in their infancy, starting their journey, just like you say, giving their dreams a go. How can one, if someone's listening to this right now and they're kind of going, yeah, but can I, that little negative monster kicks in and goes, yeah, but I don't really know this scene. What am I really doing? What would you say?
Yeah, I think first thing in, starting, like everybody has a dream, right? I think all of us have a day job, and then we dream of something doing on the side, or at some point you want to leave what we're doing and start something new, right? And where it starts with is, that naming your dream. Because there is this power of naming your dream, So if you think about, you want to build something called, www.montypanesar.com or .in or whatever .co.uk. Once you buy and name it, it does wonders to your brain, because it becomes real. It's no longer a thought; it's actually an action. And when you have that action, this is your dream. You have named it. Now you bring it to life, which is really, you have your website. And trust me, just seeing something live on the internet which has your dream name is a lot more powerful, because it gives you the confidence that, hey, I can be there now, out there, and I can actually be seen by millions or billions of people. Before that, it was just sitting in your living room or in your bedroom, and you're just thinking about it.
Yeah. And that's a bit like when people say, write down your goals, or to help. There's something in that. I don't know what the psychology or the technical stuff is behind it, but being able to visualize, being able to physically write it down, put that list on the wall, your 5-year plan, your goals. I know if I'm honest, it always sounds cheesy to me, like, oh, write it down, create it, tell yourself, look in the mirror and tell yourself you're amazing. All that I thought, I was like, oh, but weirdly, it works. Monty, in the dressing room, did you used to psych yourself up? Are you looking in the mirror? Are you turning your dreams into reality?
The thing is, like I was very lucky, right? From a younger age, I had a coach, life mentor, and he asked me the question, what's the equation to life? And I go, I don't know, what do you mean? What's the equation to life? And he goes, is it 50% mental, 50% physical? And I said, yeah, probably 50-50. So if I did 2 hours of cricket training, then I have to do 2 hours of mental exercises, for example. He goes, no, it's 90-10. 90% in the mind, 10% is the physical stuff. So if you train for an hour a day, then throughout the day, you do all the mental exercises like yoga, reading, meditation, mindfulness, reviewing your performances, just all the sort of mental exercises. So then when you're delivering your 60 balls and you're hitting in that right area, it's a high percentage, maybe 10% more than it needs to be. And that's why they say in sportsmen, they say the 80-20 rule, which is, you train, sort of 20, 2 hours, smart training, but you do 80% of the preparation, talk to coaches, your players, you do all of that kind of stuff, then you do your training. So it becomes much more smarter, efficient. And I was lucky that I had that from a very young age. When I was 21 at Luton Town in Indians, Dave Parsooth, he was my life mentor. He's not obviously sadly with us anymore because he used to smoke 20 cigarettes a day. What can you do if you're going to keep smoking 20 a day and you get to 60? Eventually, something's going to catch on. And even he knew that. That's the most difficult thing for him. But he was brilliant at, if you say to him, I want to go from A to B and get to C, he would exactly help you through the whole journey. And I think every person, any success story, you always have someone, a coach or a life mentor behind you. And now, the best coaches, I know he's not here with me anymore, but he even said to me, he said, I've given you all the tools. I've given you everything. It's up to you now how and when you want to use it. And that's all I can thank him for, because he was obviously unbelievable for me.
See, there's a lot to be said again for a good trainer. I think even in religion, people say, you need a teacher, you need a master, in anything, in any kind of form and discipline. The Rocky films, the Mike Tyson story, there's Mr. Miyagi. There is a perfect teacher. There is a teacher there doing it. And surely, Nikhil, the same applies to business. It's nice to have, I have 2 or 3 mentors or people that I might just in a business scenario ring up. So whilst you're saying, give your dreams a go, start it, manifest it, see it, in the background, what would you say? What needs to happen?
Yeah, so I think I have a very unique concept on mentorship. I think in today's world, you need a mentor who's older and more wiser than you, and you actually need a mentor who's much younger and happening than you. And I'll tell you why. Because the world is changing so fast, right? Technology, platforms, everything is changing in like weeks. So the wiser person gives you the wisdom and his experience, but the younger folks are actually telling you where the world's heading towards. And if as you get older, if you don't know where the world's heading towards, you will be stuck in that view of what you think the world is. So having that balance of younger and older mentor is equally important, because that keeps you more grounded and real.
You're definitely.
That's a great point. I've noted it down.
Oh, well done. Look, see. That's what this podcast is about. Monty, you're a better person already, and we're only 20 minutes in. Look at that. See,
I'm missing a young mentor in my life, because you're right. They're probably going places,
Yeah. And also new trends, little insights. They also talk a lot of nonsense, so you got to filter out the rubbish. I'm just saying, young people also, they think they know the world. They ain't got a blooming clue. So, pinch of salt. I'm just going to say, balance it out there. But you mentioned a lot about having your mental self in check, and I know that's a big part of where you're at right now. If you don't mind me, listen, I'm talking to you as a brother here, so I hope you don't mind me saying you had your tough times, right? That's all we need to say. You had your tough times, mentally kind of keeping control of things. But I feel like you're probably more solid than ever right now. But that wasn't easy. Do you think your tough times was the burnout that we're now seeing so many players face? It's very open now. Oh, burnout, mental health, burnout. Yeah, his workload, as well as just your own inner voices, demons, whatever. Was that the case with you now when you look back on it, or was it something else?
It's look like at the time I probably say I fell out of love of cricket. Really, that's what it was. Wasn't enjoying going to seeing fans, umpires, playing with my team. All of that kind of stuff. And when you're in love with your cricket, and everything is great. You would take the biggest criticism of any person because you're in love with cricket. So I think that's what it was, and moving forward, I think what it is that it's your individual choice. A lot of people ask me, how have you, holistically arrived to where you are now? And what's your view on taking medication? And I would say from a short-term gain, some people may have a chemical imbalance, then, you go and do that. But I think we all here are from similar backgrounds. India is a place where even the Sikhs and the Hindus believe in reincarnation, and that allows the karmic laws, which we believe in. If we do good things to people in this day and age, we'll come back, as a better person in the next life, right? We don't know if that's true or not. Okay, there's no proof in that. Some people may can prove it, but it's a great conceptual framework which allows us to be good humans in this lifetime. And I think there's so much to be said about Eastern philosophies, mindfulness, meditation. There's so much to do with that, yoga and all of this kind of stuff, which actually takes you away from the medication more towards the holistic Ayurvedic approach. So if someone asks me, is actually try and implement some of these kind of activities into your life, because they did it ages ago. The Hindu religion and the Sikh religion obviously is a new religion, but Hinduism had yoga, meditation thousands of years ago. So they were living like that then, and then it came implemented in the Sikh religion as well. Meditation, mindfulness is big as well. I would urge people, try and do that and sit in silence if you can. I find a lot of people who say, I can't sit in silence. I'm just always moving around. I'm agitating. I've got 1,000 battery cells going. It's like, relax. Just chill, man. Sit in calmness.
See, that's incredible that you've got that, because I'm that crazy mind. Nikhil, sorry, you must see that in business. You must see that in the working world.
Yeah, no, I think I also wanted to, really laud Monty, because see, mental strength and mental, just mental wellness is a concept. You're right. In COVID, has really come around and people are talking about it. But before that, it took a lot of courage, right, to really actually come and talk about it if you were going through something. And when people see folks like Monty and others, and I've had family members, you get inspired, because you say you're not alone in it. And there's just so much power in sharing what Monty is sharing. And I think in business too, right? I mean, we are seeing the burnout, right? I mean, everybody's working remote. Nobody's having the human touch. As humans, we are wired to engage with each other. Now we are all engaging only on Zoom or technology. So it drains you down. And I think the only thing to keep going is, how much focus can you put on exercising your mind? Whatever works for you, right? Yoga or meditation or sitting in silence, right? I mean, there are people who go 2 weeks without speaking. It's called the Maun Vrat, right? I mean, if you look at some of the ashrams, as Monty was referring, 2 weeks without speaking. I mean, come on, right? I mean, that takes a lot to absorb, but it gives you so much perspective.
No, you're right. So what would you say though? Because nowadays we're told, Nikhil, that work. No days off. Kevin Hart to hashtag no days off. He's doing something all the time. Hardest working man in the room. That's what you got to be. So we're asking for burnout. Whilst we say, making the most of life, I'm living my life to the max. That's a tricky one to balance in business or in anything that you're doing. Like now, here is Monty doing us. He's doing commentary. He's doing news channel. The same thing's gonna happen again. How does someone draw the line?
Let me ask you the question. Can you keep eating the same food over and over again? You can't. You'll get fed up from it, right?
Definitely not my wife's food. I can't even eat it.
The most successful, that's no. But I know that's jokes aside, because you've obviously. I'm sure your wife will take care of you, right? But
yeah, she will take care of me in a hitman way. Yeah,
but the thing is, how do you achieve balance and equilibrium in your life? Like you told me, you've got a completely different life to me. You have to be extrovert. The more extrovert, animated comedy host you are, the more people are going to love about you, right?
Yeah.
But you can't have a light switch on 24 hours a day. You need to switch it off, or else you're not going to perform at your maximum whenever you're in your work zone.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Now,
and that's
what do you do to switch off then?
So no, I'm forced to switch off because I've got 2 kids and a wife, and the house and other things. So like, I did the school run this morning beforehand, but I got to get the blazer, got the water bottles in the bag. Yeah, have you got your snack? So that's and before I struggled with this, I struggled with it because I was like, I can't do both. I can't be Tommy on stage. I'm with Monty Panesar, Nikhil Arora, Shah Rukh Khan, names that are often said together. I'm with the stars, and then I'm also like there wiping bottoms, talking to my son who's shouting and goes, Dad, I've just done a really big poo. It's a big one. It's bigger than yesterday. And I'm like, great. I didn't know I was going to have this conversation. So I think that grounds you, but also, I do go to the temple. I have my downtime. I like to listen to the part. That's my meditation. That's my kind of, but I've learned that now in my 40s. And I suppose I'm doing this podcast now because I'm trying to tell people, I promise you're going to have difficulties. You're going to have struggles, but listen to this businessman, listen to this sportsman. Look at the commonalities that we've all got here, which is life's crazy, life's hectic, and we're told to make the most of it. But then we're also told, hey, chill, look after yourself. Those two things kind of don't go together. So I wanted your insights.
No. They do go together, and I'm sure Mr. Arora will agree with me. He's a very successful businessman. People who are very successful, they need the balance of both. I would love to know more about how you have a balanced lifetime and your successful business.
Yeah, Nikhil, MD of GoDaddy India. That's a big role, and I know you do things on a global level. So there must be a million people, like a million emails every day, conversations. You're a family man, Nikhil. You got a wife and kids.
That's why I call him Mr. Aurora, because I want to. No, I'm not that businessman. I'm not that entrepreneur. I'll be honest with you. I'm not your height. That's why I would love to know the mindset of an MD. How do they reach a balance and be successful?
Yeah, listen, I think, obviously, thank you for making me feel bigger than I am. But I think the one thing I've learned, right? Obviously, it's cliche, but time is what you got, right? Everything else is adjustable, flexible. It's your time, right? So when I look at my time, when I look at my calendars, I actually evaluate every week what percentage of time I'm spending on what kind of activities, right? Whether it relates to meetings, right? Even within meetings, how much percentage should I put on customers? How much percent should I on employees? How much should I put on strategy? How much I should on my personal well-being and all this stuff? And I actually have my office person help me track that. Every week I look at, okay, this is the journal percentage I need in putting in, because that I know is a formula working for now. Second thing, I think it's very easy to say yes to what you want to do. It's very hard to say what you don't want to do. So I have tried to become better and better to, say no to a lot of things, right? Because we are all impulsive people. We all like to do action. Everybody, hey, you want to be everywhere, anywhere. You want to be seen. You want to be that, right? And so making that list of what not to do and being comfortable with that, right? If there is an event happening and I feel like I just don't want to go, I'm not going to go. Because, you just have to get comfortable of this phobia of, no, if I'm not there, I'm going to miss out and all that stuff and so on, right? And lastly, I think I never compromise, Monty, as to your point, on my mental and physical wellness. I'll be honest to say, if I have to skip a meeting, it will be terrible. I will. But I will not compromise, because I believe for sustainability of your life and for your wellness, that's the biggest important thing. And if you're not able to make time for that, you could be going like a rocket right now. You're going to crash next week, in 2 months from now, 2 years from now, right? So, those are some of the things, I'm really been working hard off.
Then can I play devil's advocate? Can I play devil's advocate and say, Nikhil, what you're really saying then is to be successful, you've got to be a little bit selfish. A little bit in the way that block out. I'm not saying selfish, take everything for yourself, but kind of go, I've got to put the walls up here, and I feel guilty. Sometimes I get messages from cousins, my mum and dad, my in-laws saying, can you come for dinner? There's this party. You got to come. I really want you there. Come on. And you're like, I am done. I'm at my max. I'm all out of words. I'm all out of energy. And I put the walls up, but then I feel guilty about it.
No, absolutely. No, absolutely. Because people may call you arrogant. People may call you selfish. People may call you many things. But ultimately, if you're comfortable on the guiding principle why you're doing it, because ultimately it's you, right? If you don't do it, you're going to get burnt out. Like, for example, if you open every morning, you start answering emails, you're working for everybody who sent you the email except yourself. You had an agenda, you woke up. Now you look at your inbox. Now there are like 20 emails. Tuck, 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 you're answering. Now you're working for Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mrs. Z, and your agenda is gone. So I think having that focus on like, okay, this is what I'm going to do in my time, and I'm going to ignore this. And ignorance is a skill you need to learn, but once you learn it, you get comfortable with it.
Monty, can you relate with that?
Yeah, like that's a really interesting thing you say that, because to make them decisions, or let's say to know this is to ignore, that to ignore, I believe you got to have that time to yourself where you go to the gym, or maybe listen to a bit of Headspace, or do a bit of yoga, or do a bit of reading, anything that you have time to yourself. Maybe do a bit of writing. Do you know what I mean? And what activities would you be doing that relate to self-love? So that's for Mr. Arora. That's your question.
So, for me, it's about gratitude. I think, every morning you wake up and you actually be why you're grateful for, because the 20 things you will realize you're not grateful for, or, I didn't get this, I didn't get that, whatever, right? So I think the power of gratitude, and I think, again, as we were talking, that it's cliche to write, but there is a power of writing, that I'm thankful because, I have a roof on my head. I'm thankful because my kids are healthy. I'm thankful because, I have this life I'm living, right? I think the power of gratitude and also the letting go, right? Sometimes when things go bad, we just get so caught up in like, they say that, you'll do or die, right? Do or die has a shadow, right? That you keep going after something so hard that it actually sometimes burns you out, right? So sometimes just letting it go, right? Like, okay, you're expressing gratitude, and if something didn't work out, maybe it wasn't meant to be, right? We talk about karma. And to me, that simple thing of gratitude, of being thankful for all the simple things you have in life, just reinforces what we forget.
Yeah. And you say about blocking out the noise, Monty. If anyone can block out noise, it's an athlete, it's a sportsman like yourself. Because, when you're running up to bowl, can you hear that roar from the crowd? Can you hear all that noise? Or can you focus so much on your bowling that literally just fades away?
Yeah, it just comes over time. Like, I remember, it was interesting you asked me that question. I went to the T20 Road Safety Series in March, and England Legends versus India. And I just saw, the likes of Tendulkar just walk, into the ground, and the crowd erupting. And I'm just sitting there with a ball in my hand, opening the bowling against him. And I'm thinking, this is exactly why I play the game, because I feel so at home. This is where I belong. And if you have that feeling, then you're not going to get fazed by it. You're going to relish the challenge. You're going to enjoy the whole, spectacle of the game. And it was a great game. T20 games against India are the best things. Yeah. And that's how you got to sort of see it. Like, whenever I watch Test cricket, or I go to, let's say, that's why I went into media, for example. I used to go to the media stand during Test cricket, because I used to watch a lot of Test cricket. I just felt so much at home watching Test cricket. Then I go to the media centre, catch up with all the sort of cricket guys, have a bit of a chit chat, but then watch them, what they were doing. And I was just I just felt like gives me the same feeling as Test cricket does. And therefore, that's why I've got a passion for now journalism, broadcasting, radio presenting, writing, all the sort of forms for it. Because it's great to talk about, about the sport you love, and also other issues. You start developing other skills. So yeah, that's why that was the reason I wanted to go into the unknown.
Yeah. And I suppose you could really say cricket was just a springboard into your broadcasting career. That's all it was. That little bit of cricket that you played, no big deal. Yeah. But in a weird way, the game's got so big. Really, what you're saying is the game's got so big. The power in the organization and the teams and the committees and all those people that put it together, there's a lot of influence there, which is why all eyes are on cricket right now. All eyes are on the UAE for the IPL wrapping up. Oh, IPL. Where are you on Where are you on that? Are you following that? Do you watch that, or is that silly cricket to you, Monty, as a Test cricket player?
No, the IPL's been brilliant, and I think we've got a couple of games today, but we've got the top four teams which are probably guaranteed now. Which is Chennai, Delhi, RCB, and Kolkata. So I think they are the top four teams, especially with Dhoni. He's been in not the best of forms, but he's definitely got the backing of the owners. Virat Kohli's last year of captaincy with RCB, he will probably want to get to the final. got Owen Morgan wants to still sort of tell everyone that I'm, one of the best T20 captains in the world. And with Delhi Capitals, I think Ricky Ponting and Mohammed Cave, that combination's brilliant. You've got a real extrovert in Ricky Ponting, and then you've got the guys behind the scenes with his clipboard, Mohammed Cave. So any organization, any coaching, they got to have that right balance. And I think Delhi Capitals definitely got that.
Nice one. Okay. Listen, we're nearly out of time, but what's next for you then? What are you excited about right now, Monty?
Well, I've got GoDaddy to get my website up and running for my journalism stuff. So I'm going to upload all my Monty Meets, podcast, my journalism things. That will be the platform. So when I see it, I'll say, yes, I can become that broadcaster when that website gets in. And I'm sitting next to Mr. Aurora as well. And he's giving me all the business tips, entrepreneurial tips. And I'll be thinking, yes, we are going to take on the world.
I tell you what, you're fine as a broadcaster. He's got the galla. I'm telling you, he's got it. Yeah.
As far as he doesn't call me Mr. Aurora, it makes me a little older, but we will get that done, Monty. Don't worry, we'll get that done.
He's very respectful. He's a good English cricketer. That's what he is. Monty Panesar, thank you so much for your time. And thank you, Nikhil, as well. We'll definitely catch up soon, bro. See you soon, all right? Cheers, everybody. Thanks for your time.
Sure.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Hey, before you go, have you hit subscribe to the podcast yet? Have you done that? You should. Have you also started following the Tommy Sandhu podcast on social media? That's on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook as well. Do it! Do it. Because then, when those annoying little notifications pop up with the random stuff that you've agreed to let into your life. Okay, delete those. Let some Tommy Sandhu joy in. I'm going to be talking to the good people. I'm going to be having some fun chats. Why not have those on a daily basis and get the notifications as well? All you got to do is hit subscribe and like and follow, and it's free. It's free. It's our favorite word. Asians love free. Say it. It's free. Oh, it feels good. Go on, do it now.